everyone, I'm here with your astrology headlines for the month of November of 2021. So it's going to be, I think, an interesting month. We do have some shifting and changing energies as we usually do. Of course, I'll talk about, as always, we always have a new moon and a full moon every month. This month, our full moon is also a lunar eclipse, so I'm going to talk about that. As well as we have, the sun always changes sign roughly like 2/3 into the month. So we're gonna talk about all of those things that are going on for the month of November. So we start off the month of November, Thursday, November 4th, with the new moon in Scorpio. So this particular new moon is at 12 degrees of Scorpio. So if you know your chart, look at the Scorpio house in your chart to see where you can set some intentions. And the reason that we say, it's a good time to set goals or set intentions on the new moon is because the new moon happens when the sun and the moon are at the same point in the sky. So they're both at 12 degrees of Scorpio. So the sun is our conscious thoughts. It represents our ego, our will. And then we have the moon, which represents our emotions and our subconscious. So it's like our subconscious and our conscious are working together. And that's why it's a good time to set some clear goals, because you're kind of, you've got both horses that are driving the chariot going in the same direction, right? So it's a good time to set those goals. Now, this is going to be kind of a volatile new moon. Now, I've got my Oracle of the Radiant Sun here, and I'm going to show you the keywords. The moon in Scorpio, this keyword for that, just going to pull it out here, I believe is power. Yes. So I'll pull it out. And it is a powerful new moon. Like Scorpio is a sign that really delves into the depths. So Scorpio rules the 8th house, and the 8th house rules things like long-term finances, debts and taxes. It also rules things like psychology, spirituality, the occult, sexuality. So a lot of these subjects are really taboo, right? Like, talking about, psychological issues, talking about the occult, talking about magic, talking about sex, talking about money that's owed to us or money we owe are not always comfortable conversations. They're not always things that we want to always talk about. So it's kind of like Scorpio rules the taboo, but it's things that can transform us in profound ways. And so if you don't know your chart, remember that, you can still set intentions for Scorpio type things. You can set intentions for, maybe there's psychological issues you want to work on, or you want to find a therapist even. Or maybe you want to develop your psychic skills or learn more about the occult. Or maybe there's a debt that you need repaid or a debt you want to pay off. So you can set intentions in this area. They're really powerful and really transformative for the rest of your, for your life, so to speak. So this one, like I said, is volatile because the moon is also conjuncting, meaning together in the sky with Mars. It's squaring, which is a stressful aspect, with Saturn, and it's opposing Uranus. So what does all that mean? Well, Mars is about action. So with this new moon, it's like we want to take action. We want to do things right away. We want to get things done. There's a lot of energy behind this. Mars is the planet that also rules Scorpio along with Pluto. So, there's just a lot of like action energy in this. But Saturn, who rules things like rules and restrictions, he's saying, wait, slow down. You may not want to act on this right away, or you might want to give this more thought and plan it out a little further. And then you've also got this opposition with Uranus. And Uranus is a planet of like chaos and sudden change and upsets, but also inspiration. So I am expecting around November 4th, you may find that something really shocks you or upsets you, or even something really inspires you. And it's like you want to take action right away. You want to do it. You want to get it done. But Saturn is cautioning like, hey, don't jump off the cliff right away. Plan this out a bit. Think about this a little. Like, it's okay to set the intention, but you might not want to just like run headlong into things. So whatever happens on November 4th, like I said, whether it's like an insight of some kind or whether it's like a shock of some kind, don't take action on it right away as much as you want to. Don't do a knee-jerk reaction. Think about it, plan it out a little bit on that day. So that is Thursday, November 4th. And then the next day, Friday, November 5th, we have both Venus and Mercury changing signs. So Venus is a planet of love. She's a planet of beauty and relationships. And she's been in Sagittarius where she's been very flirty and fun. Sagittarius is all about, having fun, having adventures, going out and just enjoying yourself. And so Venus in Sagittarius, its keyword here in the Oracle of the Radiant Sun is flirtation. When she goes into Capricorn, she gets a little more conservative, and the key word here is convention. So when it's kind of like Venus, she goes out, Sagittarius has fun, flirts with guys, and then when it goes into Capricorn, she wants a commitment. She wants something a little more serious. And so don't be surprised if like in relationships and things, and this is not just romantic relationships, but can also be like relationships, especially with like female friends or family members. There is this sense of like wanting a little bit more, like a little more commitment, a little bit more seriousness. And there's also Venus, because Venus rules our artistic tastes, our aesthetic tastes, there is a little bit of a more shift to more sort of more traditional or conservative type of, dress or aesthetics. And so we're just like, we want to tone things down a little bit more. It's like we've had our fun and now we want something a little bit more concrete, a little bit more serious, a little more secure. So that energy goes on actually for quite a while because Venus is going to be going retrograde not until December, and that's going to go into January. So she's slowing down a bit and we are with that more conventional energy for a while. Now we have Mercury moving into the sign of Scorpio. So he's currently in Libra. And Mercury is all about communication. And when he's in Libra, Libra is about balance and harmony. So he's very diplomatic. He wants to get along with others. He may not always straightforward say what he wants, but he kind of like, pushes people in the right direction. So Mercury in Libra's keyword is influence, which I would agree with. So it's all about working together, working in partnerships, and also helping people to kind of see our point of view. Well, in Scorpio, he's had enough of that. So this card always makes me laugh a little bit, but it's extremism. And we have here this guy trying to push this paper onto this woman here. It's this agreement of some kind. And so Mercury in Scorpio, he's about having the uncomfortable conversations. And I was saying this on my Patreon, I have a weekly video where I talk about in detail all of the aspects and moon signs for the week. And I was talking about how like Scorpio in Mercury on the bad side could be like manipulation, trying to like trick people into things. But on the good side, it's about having like really deep conversations about some of those topics. Like I said, Scorpio topics, which we don't always want to talk about. But if we're straightforward, we can have some really deep and meaningful conversations with people that can really help to transform things. So, be upfront, be straightforward. Don't try to manipulate or hold back about things because secrecy is sort of one of the negative aspects. And every sign and every planet has like positive and negative aspects. Let's just put that out there. But Scorpio, is famous for like that secrecy and, in some extreme cases, even manipulation. So if there's something that's, bothering you or something you want to talk about, being secretive about it isn't really helping. It's more important to have those conversations right now. With Mercury in Scorpio, there is this opportunity to have these really deep and meaningful conversations that can be really transformative. And that's the really good side of Scorpio, is that there is this powerful energy towards transformation. So that is Thursday, November 4th, Friday, November 5th are when the energy is really, there's a lot of shifting energy at that time. Then on Friday, November 19th, we have a full moon, and it is a lunar eclipse at 27 degrees of Taurus. So the full moon happens when the moon and sun are opposite each other in the sky, and the lunar eclipse happens when the Earth passes directly between the sun and the moon, because the reason the moon shines is because of the light of the sun reflecting off of it. So what happens is when the earth goes straight between them, it casts a shadow over the moon, and the moon can appear red. Some people call it a blood moon. I'm not sure if it is a total lunar eclipse. I'll have to look that up. And of course it depends where you are in the world, whether or not you're going to actually physically see it. But wherever you are in the world, the lunar eclipse, does affect you to a certain extent. So it's going to be at 27 degrees of Taurus. So if you have planets around 27 degrees in your chart, you're probably going to feel it more than others. Lunar eclipses tend to reveal things. They tend to reveal things that we don't usually see, things that have been hidden from us. So look at the Taurus house in your chart to see where some things might be revealed to you. And again, if you don't, if you don't know your chart, Taurus tends to rule things like finances, values, what we value in the world, our possessions, things like that. So something, usually very monetarily focused. It also has to do with things like animals as well, nature, the environment, food, very earthy type things. So there can be something that is revealed in that area for you, especially, like I said, if you have planets around 27 degrees. So it is a pretty quiet full moon. There's not a lot of aspects, but it is a lunar eclipse. So it is going to reveal some things to us that maybe we need to talk about, or we need to adjust, or we need to fix. It's kind of like once you've seen it, you can't unsee it kind of thing. So that's happening on November 19th. On Sunday, November 21st, the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius, as it does at this time of year, always does. So the focus shifts from sort of more Scorpio type things to Sagittarius more things. And I mean, this is leading into the holiday season. So we kind of go away from that Scorpio energy, which is very sort of like Halloween energy, towards the more holiday, Christmas, Yule, Hanukkah type of energy, or whatever you celebrate. So Sun in Scorpio, let's get out our Sun cards here, is endurance. So we have the guy here wrestling the lion, which I really think is about wrestling like the inner lion in a lot of ways, our inner animal instincts and things that are troubling us. Well, now it is enthusiasm when the sun moves into Sagittarius. It is about enthusiasm, having fun. Sagittarius is, it's a fire sign. It's a mutable fire sign, so it loves to have fun. Sagittarius also rules things like long-term travel, as well as the law and higher learning. So it can be a time as well where we really want to expand ourselves, like maybe we start to plan trips, or we plan about education. It can be about the law as well, so it can be, a little bit more serious in that way. But it's about big philosophical ideas, and it's very broad. It wants everyone to be happy. It's, laughter and fun. So our energy shifts and lightens up a little bit more as we get towards that kind of holiday season. And then on Wednesday, November 24th, Mercury changes signs into Sagittarius as well. So he goes from having these like deep transformative conversations to wanting to just have fun, talk about big ideas, talk about philosophy, and also make people laugh with jokes. So Mercury in Sagittarius is about discovery. It wants to learn things from people. Mercury in Sagittarius, we have those like philosophical conversations about things, hypothetical ideas, what if this happened, all of those kind of things. So it's a very expanding and opening type of energy. So it's an interesting month. I think there's, some energy shifts that are going on here. I think, it is for the most part of the month, there is a lot of Scorpio energy going on with the Sun and Mercury. So there is this focus on kind of these deeper issues and things. Even, Venus, which is usually a fun-loving sign, is a little bit more serious about things. So there is a sense of seriousness for most of the month. But I think once we get into the last part of the month, from November 21st onwards, we start to get things lighten up a little bit more and start to be a little bit more fun. So that is what I am seeing for this month. If you have any other questions or thoughts or ideas, please put them below. Again, thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you, of course, to my patrons for supporting me and helping me to do this. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, I do have on my Patreon, I do have weekly videos which give the astrology in a lot more detail, so you could check that out there if you'd like to take a look at that. As always, thank you so much for watching, and peace and love.